Hey everyone, it's 10 Types, and today I'm going to be talking about GLC format again. And this time I'm actually going to be talking about it in terms of Pokemon TCG Live, because in Pokemon TCG Live, as many of you know, you don't have access to all of the cards in the GLC format. Notably, you don't have access to the cards that are before the Sun and Moon era. So there are quite a few trainers, as well as some Pokemon, and so the meta of GLC and Pokemon TCG Live is a bit different. So I want to talk about what I think the best decks are for Pokemon TCG Live GLC format, and how you can change your regular list into lists for Pokemon TCG Live, what trainers obviously you're losing, and what stuff you're losing, and what stuff you want to replace it with. So first of all, there are a few things. One is the top 3 lists I'm going to be showcasing here. This first one, the second list here, probably gets hit the hardest. But overall, you know, a lot of the lists don't get hit too hard because of power creep, right? A lot of the cards that are that used to be good aren't good anymore. The older Pokemon attackers, but some stuff like, for example, one of the best decks, if not the best deck, and certainly the most played deck, is the Water deck, which revolves around Blastoise, and Blastoise is not available in Pokemon TCG Live. Not that same Blastoise anyway. So a deck like that becomes much worse. But this Psychic list here loses only one attacker. Also, you're losing the Ralts, but you can just replace that with another Ralts. But you're losing Wobbuffet, which ability locks. So you can replace that with... so this isn't out just yet, but this will be out pretty soon, hopefully. And it is the Klefki from Scarlet and Violet that will just ability lock. Wobbuffet ability locks. Klefki also ability locks. You can also replace this with another attacker, possibly a spread attacker. The best ones are probably Spectrier from Silver Tempest, I think, Glare Articuno from Evolving Skies, and Mimikyu from, I don't remember. There's a Psychic one with Copycat. I think there are some different Mimikyus. And so you can replace that with the one of the Mimikyus. There are quite a few that are pretty strong. But I'd probably recommend the most Spectrier. And then in terms of supporters, you're obviously and trainers in general, you're losing quite a few. You're going to be losing N here. You're going to be losing Bridget. Of course, you can replace Lysander and Juniper with Boston Research, but you're going to be losing Teammates. You're going to be losing Colress. Hex Maniac's a bit of an annoying loss for this deck as well. Generally, though, the supports you want to replace it with are going to be stuff like Sonia certainly provides a lot of value. And then you have stuff like Tantaliza, Arazu, Rosa. You could even play Hapu. And there are some other options as well, but generally those are probably the best. So I'd probably replace N. Could be replaced with Roxanne as well. Bridget would probably be... I'm not exactly sure the replacement you need to do for Bridget. There's nothing exactly like it. Could be Sonia, though. That's a pretty solid replacement. Teammates could be replaced with Rosa in this list. That's not a bad call. You could also replace Colress here with... maybe Tate and Liza. I don't remember which ones I've said or not. Hexamaniac, there is no, unfortunately, or fortunately, I guess you could say, exact replacement for that. So that's something you want to keep in mind. And then in terms of trainers, you're not losing too much, but you are losing a few important things. You are losing Floatstone, I believe, so you can replace that with Airballoon or something. You're losing Versus Seeker, right? No direct replacement. Could be Palpad, but, you know, that's quite different. A Muscle Band could be replaced with Vitality Band or the new Defiant Band coming out, which isn't bad. And I don't even know if Muscle Band's super useful or super worthwhile in this deck. Evo Soda, I have written down because I'm of course having notes. I wrote down Wally. You can't use Wally. I don't know why I have that one down, but of course just something like Arazu or whatever. Capturing Aroma also is a solid search option, as well as Great Ball. They're two okay search options. Nothing amazing, but they're okay. And then you also are losing. Let's see. I guess the biggest loss here. Oh, no, sorry for my an underwhelming voice right now. I'm a bit sick, unfortunately. But Dimension Valley, which is a pretty bad loss, because it says that Psychic Pokemon's attacks cost less, which is of course really, really helpful for your deck. So there isn't really a great replacement for this, unfortunately. The list isn't hit too badly by it, though, because honestly, a lot of times you will get Dimension Valley set up. So, you know, it's not ideal, but most of your attackers are cheap enough that they can be powered up relatively easily, especially with the Malamar. As I said, there's not a great replacement for that, unfortunately. But I think pretty much everything else is replaceable very easily. This is, I'd say, the third best list, though. This is the worst of the 3 I'm going to show you. Let's move on to the next list. And this one is debatably the best deck in the format, and not losing too much, but losing some as well. So, first of all, this is a dark list. You pretty much have just a bunch of very good value attackers. This is why one of my personal favorite lists in the format. It's getting a bit boring, but certainly it's a very strong list. Though, of course, you are losing some important cards. And this one might lose a bit more, but I think the quantity of cards you're losing might be more, but they're not as important for you. Notably, we're losing this Zoroark line, and there's another replacement Zoroark, which is you're also losing. So really, you just need to replace it with something else. I could see adding in either the Absol from, I think it might be Astral Radiance, the one that does spread damage and like damage in general. I don't think it's that one. I should know. Yeah, the Absol from Astral Radiance, or the Glaring Zigzagoon line. Glaring Zigzagoon and the Obstagoon, which provides good value. And I think that just makes it fine. Zoroark is a good attacker. It synergizes well with Hoopa, but you're not like completely lost without it. So I think it's okay. And the rest of the attackers still provide a ton of value, and you can just put in whatever attacker you want here. And then in terms of supporters, again, we're losing Teammates, Bridget, and that's N as well, but not Colorless as well. But not too many. Again, like you replace it with Roxanne, Sonia, which I don't think this list plays. Teammates could be replaced with something like Rosa again if you want to do that, and then Colorless could be replaced with I don't know, just some other draw search supporter. I think Airzu's a very solid supporter in this as well. And then you're also losing stuff like Trainer's Mail, Evo Soda, Super Rod, which could be very easily replaced with Ordinary Rod. And then you're also losing Dark Claw and Fighting Fury Belt and Muscle Band. So that's a pretty big deal. And I suppose First Seeker as well. I believe, this double colorless energy stays. Sorry about my voice again. But Trainer's Mail could be like Trekking Shoes or Acrobike or something is fine in this list. And then, or even Bicycle. And so you still have these like solid consistency. Wait, you don't have Bicycle. But I believe you're Acrobike. So you can do Acrobike, you can do Trekking Shoes, which are still solid cards. And then you can also go in here with you're looking at like the tools you're losing, right? So and you're also losing Floatstone, and this list already plays Air Balloon. So you could play the Stadium, I believe it's called Dark City, which allows you to pivot out a bit easier, and so that's just pretty solid. And then you can also, I believe it's only basics, but you have quite a solid chunk of dark basics as well. And then we're also looking at the tools. So Fighting Fury Belt can be replaced with Cape of Toughness, and then Muscle Band and Dark Claw, it could be Vitality Band and Defiant Band, which will be coming in the next set, which I guess I didn't tell you what it does. It does 30 more if you're down on prizes. So pretty solid card in general. And so yeah, this list isn't losing too much. Losing the Zoroark's kind of annoying. It's a pretty solid line. But overall, it's not losing too much. So it's kind of hurt it, and I think Dark just quite frankly has some of the best attackers in the game. I think Galarian Weezing's insane. I think Weavile's pretty good. Although we have seen this on. Have we seen this on other playable types? I'm not sure. But then Spiritomb is very good. Hoopa's quite good. Galarian Moltres and Guzzlord all provide a ton of value. So, I think this list is very strong. And it doesn't lose too much. It's nice if you want to try this out. And it's very arguably the best list in the regular GLC format as well. So just play this, right? It's good. And then the last list here, this is probably my number one list I'd recommend. I don't think this is losing anything in terms of Pokemon, except for you're losing this Bidoof, so replace that one. But aside from that, you're not losing too much. Notably, you're losing, I guess, Winona. That's kind of annoying. Allowing you to search, that can be replaced with Airzu. You could run Sonya on this list, right? Replacement with Bridget. Teammates can be replaced. You get the idea. And then one thing that I think... that I think this list would benefit quite a bit from is actually the tag call package. We have the tag call item searching for the supporters, notably the three tag team supports that are good are Guzman Hala, Malmo and Lana, and Cynthia and Caitlyn. And this list actually doesn't play any of them. I think it would definitely benefit from them though. And then you're losing like Town Map and stuff like that. You can replace that with like Pioneer Gladion, right? I think that's pretty fair. Personally, I prefer Gladion over Town Map anyway. And you're losing the same stuff. Fighting Fury Belt, Muscle Band, which will be replaced with Defiant Band and Cape of Toughness. Floatstone with Air Balloon. I guess it's a bit worse because there's a few Pokemon you can't retreat that have higher retreat costs, notably Slacking and Snorlax, I think are it. But you can't get them out of the active. But then you're also losing a few of these energies here, right? Actually, no, you're not. I thought you were. Most lists play other energies that you are losing, but this one does not. So yeah, you can use any of these energies here. We are losing Perilous City as well. That might be the biggest loss for this list. You can replace that with Collapse Stadium, right? That's not a big deal. It's certainly not anywhere near as strong as Perilous City. Perilous City is insanely good, but you can replace that with Collapse Stadium. And I guess another card I didn't mention is Beach Court, which allows you to retreat easier. It's probably not a stadium you want to play in most of these decks, but it provides some value. And yeah, this list is not losing much, right? You can replace Evo Soda with just Great Ball, Capturing Aroma type stuff. But yeah, this is by far, I think, the list that gets hurt the least. A lot of a solid chunk of the list get hurt a bunch or just aren't as strong in general, but I think this colorless list is very good. But I'm interested in hearing what you have to say about it. If you've ever played, or if you want to play GLC in Pokemon TCG Live, and if you think they'll add back the expanded cards. So I'm interested in hearing what you have to say. But I hope you enjoyed it, and as always, I'm excited to see you in the next video.